Do you ever find yourself staring at your phone screen, not remembering why you picked it up in the first place? Or maybe you're at the supermarket with that nagging feeling you've forgotten something, but no clue what it is? You're not alone. This strange kind of silent disconnection, which so many women experience during perimenopause or menopause, actually has an explanation, but hardly anyone talks about it clearly. What's happening inside your brain is far more complex than it seems. And if you've ever felt clumsier when making decisions, less focused, or like thinking takes twice the effort it used to, stick around. Because we're about to uncover the invisible impact this stage has on your mind. The one that doesn't show up on blood tests, but quietly shifts how you experience everyday life. When we hear menopause, we immediately think of hot flushes, mood swings, or sleepless nights. But what about the brain? Who warned us that we might feel like we're trapped in a fog that just won't lift? That fuzzy feeling, that mental seesaw, has a lot to do with the steep drop in estrogen, but not just that. There's a whole hormonal and neurological cocktail going haywire, and nobody prepared us for it. Decisions you used to make in seconds now take minutes. And no, it's not because you're getting lazy or distracted. It's because your nervous system is silently rewiring itself. What's most unsettling about this process is that the symptoms are completely invisible to others. You could be in a work meeting and suddenly lose track of the conversation, unable to string together a quick response. And the worst part, you end up blaming yourself. You wonder if you're losing your edge or just plain exhausted. But what's really going on is that your brain, suddenly deprived of the hormonal balance it relied on, starts to operate in a completely new way. It's as if it's trying to find a new rhythm, and that takes time and energy which many of us don't have to spare. Another thing that's rarely talked about is how this messes with your confidence. It's one thing to forget your keys or struggle to focus for a few hours, but when it becomes your new normal, that's when doubt creeps in. You start questioning yourself, wondering if you're failing, if you're less capable, if you should back off from certain responsibilities. Some women even stop speaking up in meetings, withdraw a little, or delay important decisions because they're scared of making mistakes. The worst part, many don't even feel like they can talk about it because they fear they won't be taken seriously. And here comes one of the most uncomfortable truths. This shift in mental clarity can cost you opportunities. Not because you're not capable, but because you don't feel as sharp, as clear-headed. And many women don't even realize this is linked to menopause. They assume it's anxiety, stress, or even something more serious. But behind all that mental noise, there's a very specific biological explanation, one that doesn't show up easily on scans or lab results. Estrogen, your silent ally for years in memory, sharp thinking and focus, suddenly drops. And when that happens, your brain has to figure out how to work without it. But that's not the end of the story, because there's also massive pressure from the outside world. No one tells you that it's okay to take your time. No one expects you might need a few extra minutes to choose between two simple options. Everything in society pushes you to respond now, decide now, keep up. And that pace takes a toll, so you start to feel slower than everyone else, like you're falling behind. You feel like you have to compensate with more effort, more perfection, more pressure. Before you know it, that external demand becomes an inner voice whispering that you should be able to handle everything just like before. And that's the breaking point for many, because this isn't just a passing mood. It's a deep shift that changes how you think, act, and even feel like yourself. And because no one sees it, no one understands. Sometimes even you start to question whether it's real or if you're just being dramatic. But you're not being dramatic. What you're going through is real, even if it's invisible to others. And understanding that is the first step to stop blaming yourself and start giving yourself the care you truly need. And no, it's not that you're becoming lazy, disorganized, or that you're no longer good at this. There's a real imbalance in your system that's directly affecting your ability to make decisions and stay focused on just one thing. Science tells us that fluctuations in estrogen levels impact the connectivity between different areas of the brain, especially the ones responsible for planning, working memory, and your capacity to concentrate. It's like your inner GPS is glitching, You know where you want to go, you know the route, but the map fades halfway through. And that's just scratching the surface. Many women going through menopause start avoiding everyday tasks like reading a report, replying to long emails, or simply deciding what to cook. Not because they're incapable, but because the mental effort required for each of those things feels overwhelming. There's a kind of fog between intention and action. You decide something in your head, but then you sit down in front of the computer, and nothing. The cursor blinks, your mind goes blank, and the worst part, no one sees it. No one realizes you're battling a sea of inner indecision and distractions. On the outside, you look perfectly fine, but inside, you're mentally exhausted, and sometimes not even you understand why. Another silent culprit making things worse is insomnia. Poor sleep, night after night, has a brutal impact on the brain's executive function, and if you add hormonal dips to the mix, it's like driving with your headlights off through a foggy road. Multitasking, once your superpower, now feels like a burden. And if you've ever found yourself overwhelmed just trying to choose between 2 types of yogurt at the supermarket, you're not losing it. That tiny daily choice can feel like a mountain simply because your system is overstimulated. Now, the most ironic part of all this is that many women keep it quiet. They're embarrassed to admit they struggle to think clearly, that they need more time, that they no longer feel mentally sharp, and that silence not only isolates us, but reinforces the idea that it's a personal failure, not a physiological shift. But here's the raw truth. You can't go through a brainstorm and expect to function like it's sunny outside. You have to adjust your pace, your expectations, and most importantly, your self-compassion. Talking to other women going through the same thing can be a lifeline. It helps you realize you're not alone, you're not exaggerating, and what you're feeling has a name and a cause. Some women find relief by making small changes, like not forcing themselves to make big decisions on days when their brain feels slower, or simplifying routines to free up mental space. Others go further and explore hormone therapy or natural supplements to regain some balance. What matters is not giving up, not settling for "this is just how it is now." Because yes, menopause can be a tunnel, but you can still light a torch inside it. Your mind is still there. It just needs you to listen, to care for it, and to recognize that it's going through a phase that deserves attention and respect. And no, it's not about settling. It's about adapting, giving yourself permission to function differently without feeling like you've failed. Because this version of you, the one who takes a bit longer to decide, is also wiser, more intuitive, and more authentic than ever. Want more videos like this one, where we lay bare the truths hardly anyone dares to talk about when it comes to menopause? Hit subscribe, because this is just the beginning. I'll see you in the next episode with more unfiltered truths.